All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back for another deep dive. It's funny how much we talk about money, right?
Yeah.
Like it's this constant thing in our lives. But how often do we actually stop and think about its connection to like genuine happiness?
Right.
So that's exactly what we're going to do today.
Yeah.
We're diving into an episode from English Dose called What They Don't Teach Us About Money and Happiness.
Love that
It
title.
really grabs you,
Yeah.
right? So get ready to maybe challenge some of those assumptions that we've all kind of grown up with
Yeah, for sure.
about money and what it really means to live a good life.
Well, and I think it's important to start off by saying, money does matter. It's not like it's completely irrelevant, right? Like the
Mhm.
podcast points out, having enough money to cover those basic needs is huge. I mean, think food, shelter, feeling safe, like that foundational stuff that just allows you to function.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like you can't even begin to think about, pursuing your dreams or finding happiness if you're constantly stressed about like basic survival.
Yeah.
It's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right?
Yes, perfect
To
example.
have that base level covered.
But here's the thing that I found fascinating.
Yeah.
The research shows that after a certain point, more money doesn't actually equal more happiness.
It's so true.
Yeah.
I was reading about this study on lottery winners,
Oh, yeah.
and it turns out that, despite suddenly having all this wealth, they often end up no happier than they were before.
It's wild, isn't it?
It is.
It really highlights that happiness. It comes from a much more complex recipe, right? It's
Right.
those strong relationships, a sense of purpose, having good health, and, continuously growing as a person.
Yeah, so it's not just about the stuff.
Exactly.
So then what does actually contribute to that lasting sense of fulfillment?
Well, the podcast makes this great point about experiences versus possessions.
Oh, interesting.
Like, think about it. That brand new phone you buy
Oh, yeah?
feels amazing for what, like a week maybe?
Right, the initial excitement.
But then it's just your phone.
Yeah, you get used to it so quickly.
Totally. But now think about like a trip you took somewhere incredible.
Ooh, yeah.
Or maybe that time you finally like mastered a new skill you were struggling with.
Or learned a new recipe.
Yes. Those are the things that stick with you.
They become part of who you are.
Exactly. They shape your perspective. They give you stories to tell. And those memories, man, those last.
That's so powerful. And, it makes me think about all the pressure we face to constantly chase more money and a higher salary.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Like it's almost like this ingrained belief that more money equals more success.
And it's everywhere you look, right?
Everywhere, the ads, the media, even just conversations with people.
But what the podcast really emphasizes is the potential downside of that constant chase.
Yeah, because it's not always a positive thing.
Not at all. It can lead to this feeling of never having enough,
Like you're always striving for that next milestone.
And you end up sacrificing things that truly matter, your time with loved ones, your hobbies, even your health sometimes.
And for something that might not even guarantee happiness.
It's a real trap.
So then how do we break free from that cycle?
Well, the podcast introduces this concept of financial freedom.
Oh yeah, I've heard that term.
And it's not about like having a massive bank account. It's
Yeah.
about having a healthy relationship with money,
Yeah.
managing it in a way that gives you control over your time and your choices.
So it's more about like a sense of empowerment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You see people making a ton of money, but they're living paycheck to paycheck.
Right, they're trapped.
They're not free at all.
That's not real freedom.
But when you're financially free, you have the flexibility to pursue your passions, to spend quality time with the people you love, to just live life on your own terms.
That's what it's all about.
And, it doesn't have to be this daunting, overwhelming thing.
Right.
Small steps make a difference.
Absolutely.
Start saving regularly. Educate yourself about investing.
Even just being mindful of your spending habits.
Exactly. You start making choices that align with what you truly value.
This has been such an insightful conversation.
It really makes you think.
It does. So before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with a question to ponder.
Yeah, this is a good one.
If money wasn't a factor at all, what would truly bring you happiness and fulfillment?
Ooh, that's deep.
It is, right? How can you start incorporating those things into your life today?
Yeah, start taking those steps.
Money, it's a tool. It's not the destination.
Powerful stuff.
And hey, if you want to dive even deeper, be sure to check out the full English Dose episode on this topic.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
See you next time.
Bye, everyone.